Hi, it's Vicky Montague from Free From Limits, and today I just wanted to do a quick video about judgment. It's something that I have written a blog about a few years ago, and I will put a link to that in the section underneath the video. But today I wanted to talk about judging judgment, a whole new layer of judgment, basically. Yeah, so I've just had a coaching conversation with my coach and had a huge realization that I have been judging myself. So I've noticed that I've been giving myself a hard time for not doing certain things, for not showing up in a certain way, or not being a good enough parent, wife, daughter, coach, whatever, like loads and loads of judgment. And I've been noticing the judgment. And what I hadn't noticed was that I was judging that judgment. So rather than just noticing that it was there, I had been going into a whole story around, I guess, around judgment being bad, and therefore the need to not do it. And that while judgment was happening, I was wrong, that I needed to change that there's something needed to be different about me fundamentally. And with that has been a really, really heavy feeling and a really difficult experience, I guess, of just feeling all of that. Like not only feeling the judgment of not being good enough at this, that, and the other, but then a whole layer more judgment of that judgment. And hopefully that makes sense. And what I saw today was that judgment is just like sadness. So for many, many, many years, up until about a year ago, I guess, probably, I had a story around sadness, that it was bad, like judgment, I guess, and that it couldn't be acknowledged, it couldn't be accepted, it couldn't be allowed. And so anytime there was a felt sense of sadness, and for me it's like a rising, like a moving energy up my throat almost, and it would get to a kind of here, and I would squash it down, like do anything to squash it down. So I would distract myself, I would go and eat some chocolate, I would go for a run, I would, whatever it took to just make sure that the sadness got stuck back in its box. And what I realized a few years ago was that it was okay, that it could come out, that the story that had been created around it, which was, if I allow myself to be sad, I'll never be happy again, like I'll fall into this dark pit of doom and never come out. And what I saw was that just wasn't true, that it was made up, and that sadness could be allowed. And obviously it was a process. It was over a period of time of allowing, firstly when I was on my own, of allowing that sensation to come up and be and to cry, and to allow that, right, allow the emotion out. And then it's been allowed more in different situations, I guess, that wouldn't have been allowed before. So it's just been an allowing of the sensation, sadness, and seeing that I'm okay. I can be sad, but I'm okay. Like sadness can pass through the system, and then it's gone, and then there's another emotion, another thought, another thing to experience. So I really saw that, and what that did was it meant that I could be with other people who were sad too, because up until that point, because of the story I had around sadness, if I was ever with someone who was sad, I would do everything I could to try and change that for them. So I wouldn't allow them to be sad. And instead I would, like, I don't know, put some music on, or suggest going for a walk, or give them some tissues and pat them, or give them a hug, or, you know, all the things that we naturally do, because most of us are not comfortable with sadness. But when I realized for myself that it was okay to be sad and that I was okay, the natural consequence of that was that I could be with people who were sad and know that they were okay too. So coming back to judgment, what I realized this morning is that it's no different. It's just a sensation that has had a story attached to it. And yeah, something's massively shifted. So just the idea that, yes, there will be judgment that happens. Judgment will happen. I'm a human being. Judgmental thoughts will pass through this system. It doesn't mean anything. The felt sense of those thoughts, so the feelings of the judgmental thoughts, that's okay. Like sadness, it's a sensation. Like when we get into the body and notice what the sensation is, sensations just move. Thoughts move when we don't pay attention to them. So I've found it really difficult to be with people who are judgmental. And I'm curious now to see what happens. Oh, it's thundering here today. Don't know whether you can hear that. There's a big flash of lightning and then thunder. Yeah, so I'm curious to see what happens. So if I now have seen something around judgment, that it's okay. Like it's not right, it's not wrong. There's times when it's really helpful. Like if you pick up a pint of milk and you judge it to be sour, you smell it and you judge it to be sour and you throw it away and you don't eat it. There's kind of, there are useful ways that we judge. When I was talking to my coach, I was talking about how I used to work with homeless people, and I could always judge whether I was safe or not, whether a situation was safe. I never got myself into any trouble. I traveled extensively around the world on my own, and I could judge a situation and know to keep myself safe. So there are times when judgment is useful. And it's just to see, I guess, that it's just a thing. It's just a thought. Judgment is just a thought, passes through the system, and without the story about it being good or bad. It's felt and then it's gone. So I hope that was helpful to you. If you experience judging yourself for being judging, or judging yourself for judging yourself, I hope that makes sense. If you've got any questions, then please do reach out. I'd love to have conversations with people about this kind of stuff, and the freedom that's available within those conversations is incredible. So yeah, I will see you again soon. Bye for now.